All right, we are live. Hasn't been that long since we were together. I don't expect a huge crowd today, that's for sure. It's a daytime. I know DMAC over there is doing work, so he's live right now. So hopefully I catch some people when he's done. I'm not working till later, so today, so not till noon. Want to do some work here. I like to. I'm going to be doing some segments coming up. Hey, Craig. I'm just going to be doing some segments that are coming up. I just need an audience. I need people to talk to when I do these segments. So, but first, we're going to just go right into a little bit more Yamamoto contract details. We found out there's opt-outs after 2029 and 2031. So that's after six and years 8. The understanding is, there's not the details, the gory details we like, but allegedly, they're paying $50 million bonus to him. I think right now, or maybe it's spread out. I don't know how it's going to work. And then they have the payment, the fee that they have to pay. It's over $50 million themselves. So the Dodgers are going, hey, we're not going to give you an opt out after 2 or 3 years. I mean, come on. We have to make sure that that we get some value out of you for all that money we've put in. So that's cool. The opt outs, and I think Bruce Kuntz, this dude's so good, and he's just a young buck. I think he just graduated from Long Beach State last year. So this dude's on fire. Obviously a young buck, works for Dodgers Digest. But he says really good contract structure from the Dodgers side here. Worst case, you get 6 or 8 years of Yamamoto's prime. Yes, his prime for relatively cheap and don't have to pay during any declining years. Best case, he's a Dodger for a full 12, $325, which will be well worth the total money. And see, Bruce is looking at things in a good way. We know that it's very possible that things might go a little south later. As he gets older, we don't know that. And this whole thing may not even work even. Let's be honest. Full cup of the good stuff, Dr. Pepper Zero. Me and Michael Malice on the same page with that. If you know who he is, you know. But he drinks it too. And it's the best stuff. It's life-giving stuff. Sustenance. So we have, we're getting his prime, right? We get his prime. That's right, Craig. So looking at that going, okay, yeah, it's a huge contract. $27 million a year-ish on the luxury tax penalty things, which, okay. And it could go south very, very rapidly at the end, or it could just not be good all the way. But it is what it is. There's just so many good things that people have to say about Yamamoto stuff. So I am going to trust them. There's one more. I forgot. I should have tagged this one. Rob Hill. Whoops. Come on. I got Rob Hill here. He's director of minor league pitching for the Dodgers. And he was down. Where did he have it? He had a really cool little tweet in here. So here's Rob Hill on his thing here going, hey, look at this guy. My guy, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, has easily one of my favorite deliveries of any professional pitcher. Really makes one reconsider arbitrary mechanical models when someone who throws like this sits mid to upper 90s, form follows function, I guess. It's really tight if you look at it. The arm's little thing, and he's also 5'10", 176. Lots of laughs. Written December 5th, 2020. And he's got the little laughing stuff going on up there. So Rob Hill knows his stuff. And fortunately, he is with us, with the Dodgers. He will be working, I'm sure, with Yamamoto in spring training. So how exciting, for these guys to go, hey, this is what we got going on. So yeah, this is where we just go, all right, Dodgers, we're going to trust you. You know what you're doing. You are the Dodgers. You guys have proven that you know how to develop and spot talent. So I'm going to go with that in that way. So now, what I'm going to do, does he have the mental makeup for number one? We're going to find out. We're going to find out, Craig. That's for sure. So let's hope so. And so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do a few segments. So I'm going to, what I'll do is I'll do this page first. Then I'll do the segment where I'm going to ignore the chat. And then I'll do, go through it. Then I'll do this again, that page again. And then if there's anything in the chat, we can talk about it. And then I'll do another one. So I got 3 segments coming up. They are, where my notes go? There they are. We got team needs. The next starters that are also on the roster. We'll just go through the whole list of starters that might make contributions. And we're not going to spend a lot of time on these. We're just going to get things started. We're not going to go in depth yet. We'll do in depth later. Over the next few weeks. I know Casey Porter and I are going to do some stuff together. I'm going to have Alex and Trinidad and maybe Steve Douglas, get some other folks on. Get Ryan back on again. Hopefully he's doing better after, the whole Ohtani thing. I know yeah. And then we'll talk about legacies. There's some legacies on the line. So I want to talk about those a little bit. I know I touched on them last night. Walker Buehler healthy is clearly still the best pitcher on our roster, and it's not even close. Hopefully. Yeah, let's hope he's healthy. Yeah, he's a dude. He is a dude, that's for sure. Okay. So now I'm going to go get ready to do the segments where I'm going to ignore the chat. We'll come back to the chat later. So, I don't have a big audience right now, which is fine. I appreciate you guys that are out here. And then, because I'm going to use these to cut them up later, and I don't want to keep interrupting myself with the thing. So these are going to be they're not going to be that long, but they're going to be kind of more on let's talk about some stuff. So, and like I said, easy to break up into segments. I will be kind of offline in some ways over the next few days, so I need some content to fill in also. But these are things that are kind of just, I don't want to say on my heart because that sounds too cheesy. But we'll get started. Okay, so getting ready for the first one. Next. So I want to talk about the team needs now that the Dodgers have really addressed some existing needs. They have now, I kind of blew that one. I'm going to start again because guess what? I didn't change my page. Next. I want to talk about the Dodgers team needs. They still have some left, even after signing the amazing DH and future pitcher Shohei Ohtani. They traded for Tyler Glasnow and Manny Margot, and now they've signed Japanese pitching sensation Yoshinobu Yamamoto. So what do they still need? According to us at Dodgers 2080, and specifically me. So I think, first and foremost, I still think they need another innings eater. It's not that they don't have really good pitchers, but they have some issues that are out there of going, well, it's really good that you got all these studs, but what what happens when some of these guys might go, there's details about some of these guys. And so here's a little tweet here from this Baseball McGee. It says, Dodgers have a lot of talent in their rotation, but it's not foolproof. One who hasn't thrown an MLB pitch, Yamamoto. One who's never thrown more than 120 innings in a season, Tyler Glasnow. One off 2 Tommy John surgeries, Walker Buehler. and a year off, and 2 second-year players, which is Bobby Miller and Emmett Sheehan. Those are legit. Now, they do have more depth, which I'll cover in another segment, another video. But these are legit. And so I do think they need an innings eater. Somebody like Lucas Giolito. I don't think they want to spend a ton on that. They've kind of spent $1.1 million. No, $1.1 billion. Wow. It's mind-blowing. But I still think they need an innings eater to cover, that extra 150 to 180 innings. Not Lance Lynn. He just gave up another home run. But somebody like a Lucas Giolito makes a lot of sense. Or make a trade. They have a lot of trade bait. So as we look at these needs, they have players that are blocked. They have a lot of starting pitching depth that's younger, that might be MLB ready, but they're not in the top 5 right now. They also have a lot of top guys, top prospect position players like Mickey Vargas and Michael Bush, Andy Paez. They might all be blocked. And they can't play them all. They're not going to insert a bunch of rookies again this year. Maybe one gets a real chance. And I would like to see more of them get things. The next one is right-handed power. I know last week we were all on fire hoping to get Randy Arozarena. A couple of blogs out there, or not blogs, tweet people were saying Arozarena was part of the trade. That's why it was taking a little longer to finish. Turns out it was more about a contract. But somebody like that, Luis Robert Jr., right, with the White Sox. There's others that are out there. They need to find a solid, and I believe it should be an outfielder because I think they're set on the infield right now. Probably a left fielder. So any outfield position, he can play left field. Because Manny Margot is a decent player. He's about, in some ways, as a hitter, a little bit below league average. So that's not the guy. People are going to say, "What about Chris Taylor?" He's not. It's not Chris Taylor. Chris Taylor is a good utility guy that you play all over the place. It's not Kike Hernandez, who, again, same as Chris Taylor, would be fulfilling a need I'm going to talk about later. So it's got to be someone with some real pop that can play all the time. Maybe it's Miguel Vargas playing left field. Maybe it's Andy Paez playing left field. I'm okay with that, but have a plan. Let's go with it and stick with that. Stick with that plan for a while. That's an easier thing to fulfill during the trade deadline. Oh, and my underrated guy I see so underrated, I even forgot about my own guy I want, Adam Duvall. That one he's a good defensive outfielder. He is 35. He's not going to be that expensive. Last year, he made $7 million a year with the Red Sox. He's still got pop. He's a good one. Not a great one, but he's a good one and might help. At least he would be better than a David Peralta. That's for sure. The next position or the need that I see is lefty bullpen pieces. I got to ask you, the audience, the question. Are Caleb Ferguson and Alex Vesey the lefties you want in the bullpen? Got to ask that straight up. And I have a feeling the answer is something else is needed. There's been rumors of Josh Hader. I'm doubting that's going to happen, but you never know. These people, these amazing front office people, including the great Andrew Friedman, man, they've surprised us so far a lot this year. Getting 3 really possibly elite players via trade and 2 via free agency. And so that's they need a lefty. They need another lefty in there. A lefty that's kind of that guy where a team that has left-handed hitters, let's say like Arizona, where they don't like left-handed pitchers in some cases, where they actually fear the lefty coming out versus And, someone like Josh Hader, I'm not saying Josh Hader, but someone like Josh Hader that really comes across the body, throwing is just nasty and just weird angles and stuff. So I could see that. And then the last one, infield defense. So, and I'm, Freddie's fine at first. Mookie's above average at second base. Now we get to the left side where Gavin Lux is coming off a knee injury. And so that range I'm concerned about. And he does have a previous, it's been a long time though, but he's had the yips before. The throw, where he just can't make the throw correctly. I think the last time that happened was like 2018 or 2019, but I believe that's gone. And then we have Max Muncy at third. So I mentioned Kike Hernandez not being a right-handed power answer, but he is an answer to more depth that they need in infield defense in that he could play third base at the end of the game. After Muncy's gotten his last at-bat, hopefully the Dodgers are up, and you put Kike Hernandez out there at third base. He was their best fielding third baseman last year. Now, it could also be that Michael Busch has made enough improvements. We'll find that out in spring training where maybe he could help out in that area. So, and then there's the talk, and I'm not gonna poo-poo it. I actually am not a fan of it, of Willy Adames coming over to play shortstop. He would make the defense better. Or if they play Miggy Rowe more, they do the same thing with Miguel Rojas. I got to at least say it once. Use Rojas the same way I'd propose to use Kike. Once the game is near the end and Lux has taken his last at bat and he's been struggling on defense, if he has been, then you go with Miguel Rojas. So they need to shore that up. So the four needs, again, another innings eater, some right-handed power, real right-handed power, preferably in the outfield, some lefty bullpen pieces, and some infield defensive help. That's it. Thank you for watching. All right. There we go. Let's check out the chat. Hey. Yeah, so I was recording a segment. Thanks for coming over. Dodgers were lucky when they lost Urias. Walker and picked up great players. Let's see. Walker Buehler is healthy. Yeah, we got that one. Who do we need more, a shortstop or left fielder, Rosarina, Adames, or Bobby Witt Jr.? Oh, they're not getting Bobby Witt Jr. Adames is a one-year guy. I just talked about him a little bit. He's a better defensive player than Lux. We know that, at least right now, because we're not sure about Lux with his knee. When he spread it over a long time, though, the contract grew on me. Yeah, it doesn't bother me. Not my money. Hope we had one of the three, Witt, Adames, or a Rosarina. A Rosarina still, you don't want Gavin, Lux, or Rojas at shortstop. Yeah, you can't have all-stars at every position. Well, they might try it, though. Will Urias ever come back? Not to the Dodgers. He's gone. I think, our shortstops are below average. Rojas is a very good infielder, and I think Lux... Lux has never had his chance at short. In 2022, he was at the bat. He was pretty good. Not great, but he was good, and he actually should have been an all-star over that freaking Cronenworth guy. Yeah. Who do you see us going for? Giolito? I go Giolito. Now, I love Ryu. He's obviously a person that we just dig. But Giolito is a proven horse. He's just a healthy dude. So I'd like that. Get Shota, Imanaga. I don't know if they're going to pay that much. Let's just say it's 5 years, 100. I don't think they're going to do that. I think that ship might have sailed, but I think. So unlike these national reporters, I'm not going to go, well, the Dodgers seem to be out on Shota Imanaga. Yeah, I'm going to say I think they probably are done right now, but yeah. Let's see. Hey, good morning, Bruce. Good to see you, Rob Bart. Do you think Blake Snell's off the table? Oh yeah, it sounded like with all the rumblings, and I left that on. Sorry, left all the the rumblings that Snell was not really a consideration for them. He just doesn't fit what they want to do. I think. I would have taken Blake Snell, and I really hope the Giants don't get him, or he goes back to the Padres, because he's pretty nasty against the Dodgers. Still never liked Glasnow, Margot. Huh? I liked it when I found out that that they signed Glasnow. That's why it did bother me. Really need a true shortstop, third base. Yeah, if Max Muncy, let's be honest, if he dropped 30 pounds, I think he's a much better third baseman. He's actually very athletic. Gavin Lux is a true shortstop. It's just, is he healthy, and can he overcome having a knee that was just totally repaired, and can he avoid what are they called, the yips? Think blue like 7. Okay, John, that cool Glasnow stroke. Yeah, Glasnow stroke. He got to 120. But the last thing was was an oblique. I just kind of trust the Dutch. Mario Soto, there's a great name from the past, man. Red's great. They need a trade or release to make. Yeah, not yet, because there's no urgency. So let's talk about that just for a second. We see every time there's a move made, we got to clear space. Yeah, it's true. They got to clear space. However, everyone's closing down over the next few days. And so they're not gonna officially sign Yamamoto yet. They could. I'm just saying. I'm just educated guess here, because we've seen it in the past. Like when last year when they signed JD Martinez, we saw the quote announcement from Passons and all that stuff, and it wasn't until 2 weeks later that they made it official. So I'm not worried about that. They will handle that. That they did that. With my guy Yorbit Vivas in that Trey Sweeney trade, clearing space there. Let's see. If we don't get Randy left field this offseason, complete failure. I don't know about King Yellow Man. I don't know about that. I think it's a really good offseason, but there's still spots, right? There's still weaknesses I identified that I think are that they might, and some of them they might do internally. It could be that Andy Paez fulfills that left field position. Dude's a stud. Muncy needs a keto diet. He just needs to get with my guy Steve Douglas. Steve will take care of him. If he does that, Steve will get him on a pure. Yeah, and Steve's pretty keto. He's all meat and eggs. I think he would make Muncy run. And let's see. Do you think we can still trade for Randy or Rosarina? Yeah, I think I think they didn't want to mix it up. I think they were, because when they made the Glasnow trade, they didn't know if they were getting Yamamoto or not. That was still a question. So they couldn't say, hey, we're going to trade all these prospects, if they said, oh crap, we need to get Dylan Cease, or we need to trade for this guy or that guy, a pitcher, because pitching was the number one item to look at. Because I'm a believer that the Dodgers, that someone like Paez, Miguel Vargas, Michael Busch could make a real dent with the team. I think Vargas is going to be better. I think the real question is, what do we have to give up to get a Rosarina? I'm not worried about that right now, because there's so many guys blocked. In fact, I'm going to be doing my next segment will be about some of a lot of the starting pitching depth. Okay, so let's actually get ready for that. I was excited about making this list. We'll get ready to do that segment, see if I can not screw it up like they did my last start. So here we go. I'm going to do my next segment, which is going to be on starting pitching depth. Okay, so New topic next. And then back to me. Okay, so now the Dodgers have acquired in the last few days Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Tyler Glasnow to go, and they did lose Ryan Pepio. So starting pitchers, they've subtracted 1 and added 2. So that's a +1. So right now, where the Dodgers starting pitching depth what it looks like right now, if you go, well, the starting pitchers are, if you go with a 5-man rotation, you have Yamamoto, Glasnow, Walker Buehler, Bobby Miller, Emmett Sheehan. And if they were to go to a 6-man today, Ryan Yarbrough. So that's their 5 or 6 guys. Yarbrough, of course, is a really flexible guy in terms of you could pitch him anywhere. They like him as a opener sometimes. They like him as a bulk guy. They like him in relief here and there. That's non-bulk. So that's the initial depth. Then you go, okay, well, what's behind right now in terms of the organization? What's the real depth? So I'm not going to go all the way down to, the Arizona Cactus League. I have a list. Only one of the guys is in AA. But I think these are all players. Well, they've either debuted already or they're going to debut in 2024. So now the list, not in any particular order. Michael Grove, who actually has been looking better in the bullpen, hasn't he? So maybe he's a bullpen guy, but I'm keeping him on this list. He's still on the team. I think they still have plans for him, and maybe they still work him as a starter. We'll see. There's been mixed reviews about him. He's had some good ones. He's had some ones against Cincinnati. And the next guy, who's only made a positive impact because he only pitched 2 innings, they were fantastic. That is Kyle Hurt. He just has some of the best stuff in the organization. He could be a bullpen piece. I think he would be nasty in the bullpen. But it's almost like I don't think I want to waste. I don't want him to be a 1-inning guy though. So I could see him possibly being a starter. I think he does have bullpen capability, maybe as a guy that they piggyback to save some innings with some other guys, which would be great because they already talked about having to limit Buehler's innings. And I'm a fan of the 6-man rotation, as we all know. Then the next guy is 27-year-old Landon Knack. Landon Knack had easily his best season in AAA this last season. He was fantastic. He was their Dodgers organizational pitcher of the year. Play him or trade him. He's ready for the major leagues. He was so close last year to being activated. In fact, it was one of the few games where I got a media pass, and Landon was there. I couldn't see him. They were not letting, but he was way out in the outfield. Actually, I got a long distance picture of him. In fact, JP Hornstra came up to me and goes, "Do you know what Landon Knack looks like?" I go, "Yes, I do. I'd met him in spring training. Of course, I've seen all the video and pictures of him over the years." So Landon Knack is another guy. Now we get, and so he has not debuted. And then we have Nick Frasso, who, along with Landon Knack, was put on the 40-man roster. So Nick Frasso is just nasty. Right-handed, of course. Everyone I'm going to talk about is right-handed except Ryan Yarbrough. And yes, I don't have Kershaw on here. Kershaw's not on the roster. We don't know when Kershaw's healthy. I also don't have May or Gonsolin because they're also hurt. And I'm not counting on them at all. So when guys are going to be out, when they say at least half the year, that also could be the whole year. So back to Landon Knack, Nick Frasso. So Nick Frasso made it up to AAA, was put on the 40-man like we said. And like I'd like to say, he throws, his mechanics remind me of a right-handed Alex Wood. Not quite as messy, but there's a lot of arms and legs coming at you. A lot. And his stuff is very elite. And then the last guy I have on this list is former Padres shortstop prospect, 2021 draft pick, River Ryan, who we got for Matt Beatty. I just like to throw that out there just as a good remembrance that we got a real hot prospect for Matt Beatty, which is cool. Good for Friedman. Thank you, AJ Preller. Truly the greatest GM out there. He needs to stay with the Padres for another 30 years. Just bringing talent left and right, giving out just amazing contracts. He's the best. So River Ryan is another guy. He's, again, a converted. The Dodgers converted him to pitching in 2022. This is new to him. I mean, he actually pitched, but just going through all the work as a pitcher is different. So they're still bringing his arm along, things like that. So, but River Ryan, I do think will debut with the Dodgers if he's still there, right? So some of these guys are also trade candidates, especially if they sign somebody like Lucas Giolito or still make a trade for Dylan Cease. I don't think they're gonna go and shoot their prospect wad on Dylan Cease now. So, but that's one of the reasons why they didn't trade for a Rosarina, because they weren't sure what they had. But now with Yamamoto, we got Glasnow. They feel better about their pitching. But yes, they need one more innings eater, and if not, then you've got a list of. If they're going to five-man rotation, you got a list of six candidates to fill in those innings. So I do expect, no matter what, there's going to be time on the disabled list. There's going to be innings limits. There's going to be, we just need to give someone an extra day of rest, bring up somebody to fulfill those innings. Sorry. So I'm very confident that the Dodgers do have really good starting depth. But it would be good to have one more guy that's a proven major league pitcher who has proven he can throw 180-plus innings. So, Lucas Giolito, come on down. And that's it. That's the current Dodgers starting pitching depth. All right, thanks everyone on that one. Let me check the chat, see if we still got people here. Very good. All right. King Yellowman, Bushstone, and Cartaya. For who? I lost the thread there. Let me know who for. Phantom X, honest question, is Glasnow better than Cease or Burns? Because I don't know enough about him, but I do know how good Cease and Burns are. In my list, I had it Burns, Glasnow, Cease. I might even have Glasnow lower than Cease because he was a 1-year contract. But now that it was that, because now Cease is a 2-year contract, while Glasnow's 5. Burns is the best of those guys. So if they still may make a move for that. Don't count him out. You can't count him out. That's for sure. Yep, Glasnow's a big guy. He claims he's healthy, like they all do. But also the Dodgers, they do their homework. And they're also not afraid to go, well, we're going to distribute those innings and include some of those young guys I just talked about. So, I'm not giving up the world for Cease. For Burns, I'm giving a lot up, but not for Cease. We don't know what he is. We do know Glasnow's good when he's on the mound. That's the thing. Cease is more. He's been out there, but he's been out there more. But Cease's metrics, from my understanding, it really slipped last year. So there was a lot of concern about that. Yeah, Glasnow's a big dude, 6'8", 225, and probably 5 pounds of that's his hair. I'd rather trade a Yarbrough instead of Pepio. Yeah, but no one wants Yarbrough. I mean, no offense, Pepio's actually that hurt. Not because he's a good pitcher and he has a bright future. Yarbrough is just a nice guy. He's going to end up playing for a few teams, but he fulfills a role. So, in fact, the Rays used to have Yarbrough. He started against the Dodgers in Game 4 of the 2020 World Series, which ended on an awful note. DFA Barnes. What's up next? Fire Roberts, right, Nando? Mr. Classic. Hey, what's up? Let's see. Sal. Correct. Play them or trade them. That has to happen. Yeah. Mr. Classic. Yeah. Top of the morning to the Dodger fans. River Ryan is definitely trade bait for what's going on right now. Yeah. I mean, any of these pitchers that I mentioned in the lower part are trade bait. And they need to do that. I mean, if they're going to, especially if they go get another one, they really need to do that. Right now, the way it is, they're going to need all these guys. The way I look at it, but it would be really nice to have a guy that could come in and throw 180 innings. Yep, Dodgers not done. Yeah, oh yeah, Andrew Friedman he's probably taking a little bit of a break for the holidays, but he's leaving that walk. He's got an outside walk, so he's got that walk fully inflamed, and he's going to leave it that way, and he'll re-oil it once the holidays are done with peanut oil, of course. And then he's just gonna cook, and he's gonna cook madly. Let's see, Giolito. Yeah, he seems. Yeah, the Giolito just seems the right one. Class A is interesting. Yeah, it would be interesting that if they went after him. His stuff went down though too. Oh, you wouldn't trade Glasnow, Margot? Yeah, you wouldn't trade for them. Well, I'm more optimistic, Bruce. I'm more optimistic than you. Let's see. Yamamoto, I hope, is like Pedro Martinez. Oh, for Randy. Yeah, that's the. Let me read that again. Bush, Stone, and Cartaya. Wait, I forgot Stone. Oh, crap. That segment's poo. I forgot frickin' Gavin Stone. Unfrickin' believable. I'll probably do it again then later, and we'll chop that later. Unbelievable, Rogers. Gavin Stone. Yeah, Gavin, Bush, Cartaya, Stone would get a Rosarina, I believe. Trade Dave Roberts. We'll be talking about him in a minute. Hit the like and sub. Thank you. Tim is a great guy. Well, some people think so. Appreciate that. What do you think of Dustin May as a reliever? Yes, absolutely. And you know, I was listening to Casey last night after my show. He same boat. We're on the same page with him. He did shout me out about the 6-man rotation of being a fan. You want Randy for left field? I do too. I haven't given up. Let's see. We'll see what Glasnow's got. Yeah, he knows everyone in Los Angeles is banking on him to stay healthy. Yeah, and it's up to the Dodgers to do that. Which, let's be honest, they haven't been very good at it lately. Sal says 2024 is going to be defining for Dave Roberts with the talent we have. Yeah, Mike Whitman had a good tweet. He's got 2 years left on his contract. Let's be honest, if he doesn't get a World Series, and it looks like, you know, everyone was kind of healthy enough, it might be time for him to move on. But it is time. It's time. You know, he's had 8 years. He's got 1. Friedman has had 9 years and has 1. But I would say there's been many times the talent's been there, and the execution on the field didn't happen. And eventually the manager has to answer for that. But they've been good with that. 2 or 3 inning or closer. Who are you talking about? Dustin May. Probably just a 1-inning guy. I don't know about closer. I kind of don't worry about the closer. I just want guys to go out and get 3 outs. We got enough guys to get 3 outs in the right situations where the Dodgers have all the metrics doing their thingy. Then, yeah, he could be really, because he is nasty. I mean, some of the pitching ninja stuff that comes out with frickin' Dustin May. I mean, that dude, it ain't right. It's not natural. Freeman would love to bring in cheap pitching of Rays. Yes, he does. Bruce, yep. I'm wishing people Merry Christmas and whatever you celebrate. Merry Christmas, Merry cheating tax cheaters. Who's cheating on their taxes? A happy deferred year. Well, there is no tax cheating, or else they would have been called on it. Gavin Stone is biggest trade bait. He probably is. Let's see. Gavin Stone guy we should trade for his. Yeah, well, either play him or trade him. Let's see. This positive environment. Be careful. Yeah. Yeah, it's just, if you got proof that they've been that they are tax cheats, that's fine. But yeah, the deferred, they did it, and it's allowed. So no one complained when the Nationals way back in 2015 did it with Max Scherzer. It was 50%, not 97% or whatever it is. But they did it. It's a thing, and it's allowed. So I think the fact that Ohtani was willing to do it. Remember, Ohtani's the one that proposed it. He's the one that proposed it. So Ohtani proposed to 4 teams. 10 years, $700 million with $680 million deferred. And he proposed that to the Angels, the Blue Jays, the Giants, and the Dodgers. The Angels said no. The Blue Jays and the Giants and the Dodgers said yes. And fortunately for us, he picked the Dodgers. So that's where it's at. Glasnow's not an ace. I'm not worried about that. I want just good pitching. I want playoff pitching, hopefully, too, and I hope he proves me wrong. Robert's haters are so ridiculous. There's not a hate. There's people, we're not hating him, Coach Charlie. We're just being honest about it. He's been here 8 years. He's made a lot of mistakes. He's been a lot of good things, too, though. He's done a lot of good things. His bullpen management in the 2020 World Series in Games 5 and Game 6 was perfect. You already forgetting we got Glasnow? Oh, man, I hear you. It's been crazy. Here's the crazy part where players get huge contracts. They tend not to play their best. It's the Dodgers' job to seriously motivate. Yeah, and that's where Doc does need to play into that. One of the things, I think what happens with the Dodgers, and I've seen it, is I think they just get soft. And not soft in, no, they just go, I got my beautiful wife, I got my beautiful kids, I got my big money, and, it's not going to matter. And this is just internal that they're in this is just human nature. So, I think the Dodgers I just think there needs to be more accountability. Yeah, Doc is a good guy, actually, and I've met him. No, I've met him a few times. He's a really good guy. He commands a lot of presence. He really does. Yep. The only other guy on the Dodger roster who will kill to play is none other than $2 million Shohei Ohtani. Yeah, he's hungry, and I think that's good. He brings that hunger back. I think that's really good. You think 29 other teams would disagree? I already just said that 2 other teams were offered the same contract and they accepted it. So, Tim, I think you believed in us acquiring Yamamoto more than any of us. I noticed from your Twitter replies whenever I always connected to another team. Yeah, there's more than that. I mean, no, the main guy, that's my guy, Doom Sal, also known as Mike, Dodgers Daily. He's in the chat. He's a moderator here. What about Doc's winning percentage? It's great, but I don't take that much into account because I think that I think most managers would have that winning percentage. Except this last year. Getting 100 wins with this team, that was special. That was special. I give Doc a lot of credit for that. Same time, playoffs come, he makes a lot of bad decisions. I mean, I'm sitting, and it's not like I'm Monday morning quarterbacking with those. I was at game 2, and I was questioning. I questioned him about 6 times during that game, and they were all very pivotal. So I think he's made some mistakes, but he's been good. But I think in the playoffs, he's made a lot more mistakes than he's done good things. Just being honest. And I like the guy, and I don't want to fire him. But in 2 years, he really does need to he better at least get to the World Series. He really needs to. And if he has another, to be honest, if there's another first round knockout or they don't get to the playoffs, he'll be gone. And to be honest, he should be. You have to change it up. So he's been there 8 years, and sometimes the voices get tired. I know I see that at work. I get tired of people, and I know people get tired of me, especially at work. Yeah, they were too complacent. Yes. Yep. Great human being. Absolutely. Would you say Doc is more of a player's coach? Oh, yeah. And I think the whole organization is driven like that. But I think they need to be not too accommodating. They need some eye, good old eye of the tiger, if you know what I mean. They should have been. They were embarrassed, but I think everyone in that organization should have been embarrassed. That's for sure. Just as frustrating managerial stuff. Yeah, it is. It is, and it is frustrating. Now I'm going to also go. Now I'm going to go the other side on Doc's defense on this. How much of that is driven by a pre-planned game plan? Because they do have a good detailed plan. Is it his fault? I'm going to bring it up. Sorry, I'm ripping the scab. Ripping it right wide open. 2019, Clayton Kershaw gets in the 8th, gets Adam Eaton out, strikes him out. Starts the next inning against Rendon when you had Kenta Maeda. And then Rondon hits a home run. Make it 3-2. Juan Soto coming up. Adam Kolarek in the bullpen. And you leave Kershaw in. Was that Doc? Or was that people above that said that's the plan? We won't know that till some other day. Maybe when Andy McCullough's book comes out in May, we'll know more because he's writing a book about Kershaw. I'm excited about it. That's going to be great. What are your thoughts about removing umpires and replacing them with robot umps? I'm all in. You need a bother thing. You want them there, and you want watching some of these AAA games where they can appeal, and it's very fast. It's very fast. He's got to win with billion-dollar players. He does. Yeah, it is $1 billion. I know I said million earlier. I didn't mean to do that. That wasn't a bit. Roberts let Lynn stay in at 4 homers. Yeah, and he let Kershaw die out there. And he was frozen. I mean, during that Kershaw inning, I remember that first inning, they put the camera on Doc, and he's just got this face of frozenness. So I know it was shocking, but that happens. And you have to adapt. I was listening to Ned Colletti yesterday. Oh, yeah. He is not in a front office. Super smart guy. I thanked him for drafting Kershaw. Yeah, he's underrated. Colletti has a nice legacy, in my opinion. He drafted Corey Seager. He drafted Clayton Kershaw. Drafted Cody Bellinger. Alex Verdugo was there to help sign Julio Urias, Puig. Yeah, he did quite all right. Let's see. Pitching wins in the playoffs. Yeah, they have to pitch. And the Diamondbacks definitely pitched way better, and the Padres did too. And I put more of the 2022 loss on Roberts than 2023. Sal says, I like Roberts, but he has made mistakes with the stacked team before. Yeah, 2023 was his best year as a manager. Yeah, and I just don't think he was very good in the playoffs, but nobody was. That was organizational failure is the right term. Everyone should be ashamed of that, and I think it's kind of clear that they're reacting to that, getting Ohtani, getting Yamamoto, getting Glasnow. They got more coming. Yep. Mark, I agree. Superior postseason pitching is what sets the tone for batters to do their work. I agree. Oh, Ned Clay's on some NorCal Sports Show. Yeah, he did retire from baseball. I wish that the Dodgers would have somehow kept him around. I just thought he deserved better. And if you have not listened or read Ned Colletti's book, I highly recommend it. There's some really interesting details, especially about 2008. They had CC Sabathia. There's some details about that. Frickin' effing Frank effing McCourt. Bastard. Just, and even when they made the trade for Casey Blake, they had to give up Carlos Santana because freaking old cheapo McCourt needed money, needed the Indians to pay the whole contract of Blake. Just sucked. Yeah. Let's see. Mr. Glassy, I love Clayton Kershaw to the death. That's a great human being, but him being pressure scarred in the postseason leads me to believe he's mentally weak. No, but he's also had a lot of good starts. And some of his things have been Don Mattingly. Why did you leave him in there so long? Why did you bring Pedro Baez in there, Dave Roberts, to clean up? There was just some bad managing that hurt him. And, of course, 2017, Game 5, they were cheating. They were absolutely cheating. They knew what was coming. So, yeah, there's that. So I just don't think he's mentally weak. I do think the pressure can get to people sometimes, but he's also 2020 he was very good in the World Series. Game 1 of 2017, he was excellent. And in Game 7, when he came in and pitched 4 innings of relief because Darvish was all spooked out by the cheating going on, he thought he was tipping and he couldn't figure it out. McCourt was awful, but look at Artie Moreno. I still say McCourt was worse. I did boycott the Dodgers in terms of I wouldn't go to games until he sold. You believe? Oh, Artie is definitely at fault. Yeah, because he sticks his nose where it doesn't belong. It's just, some of these owners, they just can't leave well enough alone. Artie Moreno is not qualified to make decisions about the Angels roster, just like Mark Walter is not qualified. Just like frickin' Spanos with the Chargers is not qualified to be sticking his nose in. There's a reason that the Chargers keep losing is because that idiot up above is in charge. And he hires the wrong people, and he sticks his nose into personnel decisions and in coaching decisions. You just can't do that. Mark Gray, so the Dodgers resorted to trying to buy a championship. Do you think the Dodgers doing is good for baseball? Buying a championship is relative. I get what you're saying. It's happened since 1976 when free agency first started. The Yankees went and signed Reggie Jackson and Don Gullett. And they got 2 world championships after that. They threw their money around. It's been going on for years. The Dodgers could have done this a long time ago. They could have been throwing their money at everybody. I think what was bad for baseball, I'm going to be honest with you, is the Padres giving an 11-year contract to Xander Bogaerts as a shortstop when they didn't even have a team need, when they couldn't afford it, and they had to trade Juan Soto because of that. That's bad for baseball when you have to dump guys because you can't afford things. The Dodgers can afford this. They're going to make a killing. They're going to actually make money off of this. They're going to make double the money off Shohei Ohtani than they're ever going to spend on him. Opinion, not fact. And at the same time, they still have a ton of minor league talent. I don't know if you were here earlier. I read off a bunch of pitchers that they have. And they still have, most of them are homegrown. Yamamoto, Glasnow, and Yarbrough are not homegrown. But the rest are. So, yeah, imagine if we had Zach Greinke in 2017. Absolutely. That was just so bad. Yeah, and the Dodgers, that's a good example. The Dodgers, that was one time they really should have thrown some money at somebody, is when Greinke opted out. He was good for quite a while, even after that. And he pitched good enough to win that Game 7 for Houston in 2019. Let's see, bad bullpen choice. Yeah, let's go Dodgers. Have to see you later. This here. Let's see, imagine if we had, Dodgers still have a lower payroll than the Mets and Yankees. So true. Boring. Am I boring or what? That's okay. Darvish is 37. Yeah, holy moly. And he's got 5 more years on his contract. That's bad for baseball, is making stupid decisions like that. And you can't afford it. I don't mind giving a guy whatever he can get. It's you can't afford it. And those were unforced errors. They did not give Darvish would have been a free agent this year. They went and proactively said, here's a 6-year contract. They redid his contract and said, instead of 1 year, here's 6 more years, despite the fact at the time you're 36. And then when you look at Cronenworth, oh Lord, wasn't going to be a free agent for another 2-3 years when they gave him 7 years, $8 million. Holy smokes! And then Bogarts. They already had Hassan Kim, and at the time, still Tatis was the shortstop. They were in good shape at shortstop, and they made that move. They were just trying to make a splash instead of going, what works on this team? What are our real team needs? And they ended up, giving Matt Carpenter 2 years, $12 million. They gave weird contracts to some pitchers that they're easily opting out on. Yeah. Yankees and Boston bought championships in the 90s and 2000s. No one said anything because it was the East Coast. What did the Rangers do? They spent $500 million on contracts in the after 2021, right? Seager and Simeon and Gray, and then they shoved their way. And that's good for them. I was rooting for the Rangers once the Dodgers were out. I'm glad there was 5 former Dodgers on that team that got to march in a parade. Let's see. I know Giants fans doing the same. Many of them are not going to get to the games as long as Farhan is there. Yeah. Small market Farhan Zaidi. He just can't. He can't shake it. I also think there is a nerd factor in that organization. It's too much of a nerd. Let's be honest. When you think of a really good baseball player, go back to high school in your head. Go back to high school in your head. How many of those guys were pure nerds and actually wouldn't have actually kind of bullied a guy like Farhan? That type doesn't change that much. You know what I'm saying? And the Giants hiring all these other, people that I'm not terribly positive how qualified they are. They don't look like baseball players. The coaches, the coaching staff is filled with all sorts of people that look like they never laced them up. Even though some of them have, but they just so weak, as Uncle Roger would say, so weak. I just think they just come off as very, I don't know, feminine or nerdy. I don't know. They're just missing something. Baseball, thinking man's game. Yeah, I get it. I'm all in on that. But I just think they're missing out on something. I just think there's a factor there to go. They just don't get it. Bob Melvin is a good move, though. That was a really good move. He's their best shot at making things better. And if Farhan has another losing season, he should go. I think he works well within another organization with him in charge. I just don't know if that's the right call. I think he needs some help. Because he does provide a lot of value. Just like A.J. Preller does provide a lot of value. He's just, you don't want him in charge. Let's see, I know John, Mike Trout, please ask for a trade. It's better on the other side of the freeway. I'd like him to do better, to get a better team. But, I think he's a very happy man right now. Just living where he's living. He has his wife and kid. Lives in Newport. He's in good shape. It's his call. Tony Gwynn made the same type of calls. He had a chance to go to a winner at the end of his career, and he didn't do it. And I'm good with that. It is good for baseball because even though people hate the Dodgers, more people are watching and can't take their eyes off them. And now it's worldwide. It is worldwide. Sal says there is nothing wrong with what the Dodgers are doing this offseason. What's bad for baseball? Owners sitting on payroll and signing players. Yes. Owner should be seen, not heard. That is correct. OJ Preller made a mistake. AJ Preller made many mistakes. I'm going to rephrase that for you. I think Snell stays a Padre. I just don't know if they can afford it. We'll see. We will see. But I could see that. If they could find a way to keep him. But they need like 4 pitchers. And they don't need all good ones. They literally need 4 starting pitchers. Where they've gutted their farm system. Even though they have built it back, but it's lower, at lower levels where they're ready to do damage. I'm just doing a quick time check. Yeah. All I can say is, look, the Yankees, Mets, Padres last couple years trying to buy a championship. Look how that's turned out. Dodgers are guaranteed nothing. That is true. Absolutely guaranteed nothing. Absolutely, 100%. And Dodger fans know this. We've had amazing players come through over the last few years. We freaking traded for Yu Darvish on a team that was already winning a ton of games and still lost. Now we got cheated out of that, but still should have won even with that. And then the next year they go and sign freaking Manny Machado or traded for Manny Machado. 2021 they went and traded for freaking Max Scherzer and Trey Turner, giving up 2 of their best prospects. So they've had a lot of good players. But, when they did win in 2020, half their team was homegrown. Facts. Let's see. Greinke got us Will Smith. That is very true. Yep. Him leaving, we got Will Smith as that pick. I got a feeling they still would have found a way to get him because in that 2016 draft, I did an analysis on it a few years ago. Every player that they drafted in the top, they drafted way above where they should have been slotted. It was kind of amazing. It's like Ocean's 11, All-Star cast. Yeah, you got to keep some of the beginnings. Oh, look at this super chat coming in. Who we got? Glenn, thank you. Yeah, great shot. Sorry I arrived late. What have you heard is next? Oh man, it's just rumors right now. I think right now, Glenn. And by the way, that's going to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital for December. Please consider donating on your own or whatever. Just let's get money to those kids. It's an amazing organization, one of my favorites. That's why they're first. Right now, they're going to close for the holidays. There'll be a few moves that sneak out. Who's that? That GM in Seattle is probably still looking to make a trade on Christmas morning. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he likes to make trades. DePoto, right? Yeah, Jerry DePoto. Yeah, that's the guy. I think that's him. I might be wrong. Well, whoever, the Seattle guy, he's going to make it. He's going to try to do something. But there was a rumor about the Dodgers looking at Emmanuel Clase. That's just a rumor. I did something on their needs. I think they need one more innings eater, some right-handed power, a lefty bullpen piece, and a little more infield defense. So, and I actually, it's earlier in the segment, and I'll be breaking that out as his own segment later. Dang it, which I wasn't recording. I'll have to wait till this downloads. Let's see. I'm scared not bringing back Kershaw will make our young pitchers worse. I'm not worried about that. I do think he's coming back if he wants to. That's all. I think he comes back if he wants to. And whatever decision he makes, I'm all good. Preller is Timothy. Yep, Preller's a good scout. That's where it ends. Exactly. Yeah, he's really good at finding talent, isn't he? Really good at that. Phantasm says I'd pay Kershaw to be the Dodgers manager or pitching coach. Yeah, he didn't want to do that. I mean, when he retires, for a while he's gonna stay there in Texas. That's where he wants to be. I think actually Kershaw. Have you guys seen his sideline interviews? They're fantastic. He is so good. That dude will probably be with the Rangers, color commentator in a few years, and that's what he'll do, and just stay home for those games. Let's see, Benji, is Lex untouchable in your opinion? No, I don't think so, but I think the Dodgers think a lot higher of him than most of us do. I do think high of him, but most of the chat a lot of the chat would say no. Mark Pryor's still there. If Kersh is gone, the pitchers will be fine. I agree. Sal, yeah, are the Padres seriously thinking about trading Kim? Yeah, I saw that. That can't be. If they trade him, bang for the buck with that guy, that's one of the best bargains in baseball. Other than Ohtani at $2 million. Sorry. You can't trade Kim. Yeah, I know he can opt out after next year. But that's the one. Again, you go back to their dumb decisions with what they did with Darvish, Cronenworth, and Bogarts. And now they had to trade Juan Soto, who is better than all three of those by far. And they're gonna may have to trade Kim because they're afraid of losing him, or they lose him next year because they can't afford him because of those 3 stupid contracts. Come on, Preller. There really should be out there in the Twitter land from Padres people. #fire Preller. Watch the Padres win it all next year. Rangers got a ring though. Absolutely, they did. They used a lot of their money, and they used some of their farm system, and they used some good trades, and they hired, Bruce Bochy. They did really well. I congratulate them on that. I want the Dodgers to win 1 World Series since 1988, 1 World Series since Andrew Friedman took over 9 years ago. No, it's totally unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. They need to take care of business. You can't buy it. Yeah, there's plenty of teams that tried. Mets tried it. Padres. We've seen the list. The Yankees used to buy them. They did a good job of it, but they had a mix though. But George Steinbrenner throw his weight around, and they had a good mix of their players that they brought up, and then of free agents and trades and stuff. That's kind of how you got to do it. I buy your Dave Roberts take about 2020 bringing his best year coaching. All I have to say is we had Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, and Will Smith. That had nothing to do with Dave Roberts. The pitching, though, was dead. They used 17 different starting pitchers. He had to juggle all that stuff. That's pretty hard. To get 100 wins, I was impressed. I thought 95 maybe, and I was being optimistic. Root Street Collectibles, sorry. If the teams don't spend their money on free agency, owners just pocket the profits. That's not good for the fans of baseball at all. Exactly. Name one team or one fan base that would go, oh, I don't want Shohei Ohtani. I care about the money. Look, I am one of those people that have spent years monitoring salary caps and all that stuff for the Dodgers. I used to write the payroll page at Dodgers Nation. I get it. After these last 2 embarrassments in the playoffs, #not my money. It's not going to impact your ticket prices. They have the money to do this. The question is, do they have the will and the desire to make their team more valuable? Let's see. Buster Posey even said no one wants to go there. Yeah. Farhan seems to be a match for Arizona. I know. Well, that's where he was. That's where the Dodgers got him from. Buster Posey's a clown. Oh, I actually like Buster Posey. I respect him. I truly think, Mr. Classic, I truly think Kershaw will be a Ranger this season. He'll not want to play fifth fiddle to Shohei's polarizing image. It's up to his call. Nerd factor. Yep. See? You get what I'm saying, Sal? Nerd factor when it comes to Farhan. It just is. When these old school guys talk about nerds, that's who they're talking about. They are. And I got a chance to meet Farhan once. I was at a high school baseball game, and it was Westview at Westview against Rancho Bernardo. Westview had a pitcher named Michael Mercado, who was eventually drafted in the second round by the Blue Jays. And RB had a young man named Calvin Mitchell, who was also drafted in the second round, and that was by the Pirates. And they were playing each other. So there was like 40 scouts there. The Dodgers, I guess, they were in San Diego. So they had an off day that day. They were heading to, we're going to play in San Diego the next day. And at the high school game, because I'm watching, I know those kids. Those are two kids I know. My son played with them. I managed Michael Mercado in Little League. So I follow my players. And I come walking in. Here comes Farhan. And he stood out. And he stood out because he doesn't fit. You know what I mean? My voice cracks a little bit. You know what I'm saying? He just didn't fit. I went and met him. A really nice guy. And it was right when they were talking about, Cody was coming up. He had just come up. And they were going, well, you were hearing rumblings about Cody going sent back down and tolls being sent, they had guys coming back from injury. And I said, please don't send Cody down. Keep tolls. Yep. Farhan is the same mold as DePodesta. Yeah. But Farhan's been a lot more successful. Farhan had played a big part with the Dodgers. He did a lot of good things. He helped them to develop some things, to be smart with their money. Not that Friedman totally needed that, but still. Sad to say, Kershaw is coming to an end. Era, yeah. Still think Robert should have left him in last season, 8th inning. Perfect game, similar circumstance with Rich Hill 6 years ago. I know. It just breaks my heart. At least Kershaw had his no-hitter in 2014, but it shows how hard that is and how lucky you have to be. Kershaw is the Dodgers. Yeah, he's a Mount Rushmore. He gets a statue. And as soon as he retires and gets put in the Hall of Fame, he'll have his number done, and they should get a statue the same day. And hopefully I'm healthy enough to be able to go out and see his induction ceremony. Benji says, I was listening to Giants pod yesterday, and they said Farhan is a statistician in the sales world. Yeah, couldn't agree more. Melvin is a great move, yeah. Yep, Eric says, and this is so true, not all front offices and ownerships make big moves. And you have to make the right moves, too. Yeah. Hello, Clips. Do you see the Dodgers continuing to add to the squad or rotation after the Yamamoto signing? Yes, I do. I think someone like Lucas Giolito. I think they do, or someone to eat some innings. Thankful to be a Dodger fan. Let's go. Padres went all in last season. It didn't work, did it? They gambled and lost. We let go of Trey Turner, Max Scherzer, all for Shohei Ohtani. Worth it, yeah. And the thing is, those moves they made in 2021, until the last weekend of the season, they had, I think, the best roster that was ready to win the playoffs. And then everything fell apart health-wise. And then there was a couple decisions I didn't like of Doc, and some of them organizational, where they just burnt pitchers out, and then they wrecked Buehler after that. Yeah, Scherzer was supposed to be, yeah. And they pitching relief in that game because Doc only wanted to go with Urias for 4 instead of 5. I mean, at the time, Urias was one of their best pitchers. He was a 20 freaking game winner. And they only pitched him 4 innings. Yeah, I know they won, but dang. I've done the Facebook St. Jude push-up running challenge. Oh, very good. Thanks, Glenn. Justin Hollander is the GM for the Mariners. Didn't they have another one, though? Or did they get rid of that guy? Maybe they got rid of the guy that trades every day. Yep. Yeah, I talked about this earlier. Yamamoto's out, so that'll be after his 6th season or 8th season. DePoto does baseball operations for Mariners. Yeah, that's still the guy. Yeah, that's the dude. Yeah, Padres should not hope springs eternal or not trading Cam. Yeah, they shouldn't. It would be criminal. You'd fire Preller if he does that. They should just sign him now. Figure that out. Get that done. Sign him to a nice 5-6 year contract. No clue why Padres paid all those guys, plus the overrated relievers who had one good year. I know. Yep, Peter Seidler, rest in peace. Amazing guy, amazing owner. A huge loss for that organization. And for the city, I got to be honest, I live down there. So for the city, yeah. In the county. No clue why. Peters can't trade Kim while they have a series in South Korea. Yeah, another. Yeah, I just think that's something that slipped out on, and probably just some national guy's idea of creating trade chatter, probably in some guy's article or something. Yeah, they're not trading him. Dodgers should loan Padres some money to bolster their roster too. If the Padres would have spent their money wisely. Yep, Bruce Bochy, Hall of Fame manager. What a gem he is. Yeah, and he is a difference maker. And I honestly believe the Dodgers would have at least 2 or 3 World Series in the same period that they have just one. They would have at least, I think, 3 if Bochy was manager. I believe he's that good. He handles the players right. He makes the things right. Everything. Let's see. Bruce Bochy, Hall of Famer, Rockies. Let's see. Game 2, 7th innings. The Dodgers get. Oh gosh, I even forgot about that. Yeah. The biggest thing that we found out later, Great White Raider, was the Puig not playing where he was supposed to play in that 8th inning when Bregman hit that ball off of Brandon Morrow. Should have been caught. But Puig was playing in right center when he should have been playing over as per the lineup card, but he didn't want to follow instructions. So they missed that ball. That run scores 3-2 at that point then. Yeah, there was a lot of things in there. Starting Chase Utley over Logan Forsythe was a mistake because there was a play. Josh Reddick hit the ball to the right, to his left side. He couldn't get to it. He actually got to it, just couldn't get up and make the throw. I think Forsythe, who was a lot younger and a lot better defensive player at the time, would have made that play. Burning the pitching staff where, you pull strip after one walk, where Tony Watson comes in, gets 2 outs on one pitch, and then is out for the game, and you're stuck with Josh Fields and Brandon McCartney, who shouldn't. I love the guy, but he shouldn't have been on that roster. There was others too. I got to take a quick look. There's some minor league transactions they're talking about here. Okay. No, these are okay. Dodgers have released the following minor league players. This has nothing to do with the majors at all. Anderson Estevez, Eric Nava, Rancer Adon, Trevor Betancourt, and Josh Stowers. Okay, some of those I already knew about. Buster Posey is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Amen. Hope we get Hader, but do the Dodgers want to go over the $290 million luxury tax level? I don't know. It's just money at this point. They're already sliding down their draft pick from down 10 spots, which is fine. I'll take that for Yamamoto. So I don't know. That's a good question. Oh yeah. Buster Posey is a 3 times World Series championship winner and an MVP also. You're so good. Yeah, Dodgers going to be looking at Class A. I saw that. Cannot stand Farhan. The guy lies. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, okay. I think he talks in weasel. Really, where it's technically not a lie, but it sounds like a lie because it's like, wait a second. He's just trying to. He goes, technically, you couldn't get me on this in court. Not sure if you spoke about this, but how many championships do the Dodgers win to make these signs a success? I say 3 or more in the next 10 years. What do you think? I think they need 1 within the next 2 years for sure. Or adios, Doc. After that, I'm not sure. I haven't really thought past that yet. Hope we get Class A who to give up. I don't know. Wait, Dan, you lying to me? Now you're making me check the Twitter machine, aren't you? You probably got me on one, don't you? You got me. Let's see. Breaking news, Hader to the Dodgers on 3 years, 75. We wish. If that happens, I'm happy. Dan, if you got some information or a link, please let me know at Tim Rogers 2080 on the Twitter X machine, whatever it's called. Kershaw 20, yeah, but I see him not pitching soon. Yeah, I think his arm's toast for a bit. Yes, yep, yeah. Love to see Dodgers in a championship in a full season. 81 in 2020. I know they're both shortened seasons. It's like, well, if it's a shortened season, we know who's going to win. It's kind of like right now, you have to have a Will Smith on your team to win the World Series, as we found out the last 4 years. Trading Austin Barnes away if you don't re-sign Kershaw wouldn't surprise me. Had to talk about acquisitions of money. Got to remember, Dodgers signed reclamation pitchers. Padres taking signings. What about, yeah, exactly. DJ Jesse, the Padres really have mismanaged. The Dodgers have had their moments of screwing up. We will admit that. But in general, they've been really good about their signings, really good about developing, things like that. They put a lot of money into player development. Dodgers had to sign a reclamation project because they ultimately wanted to get Ohtani. Well, that one didn't work. Syndergaard was an absolute bust. Hepatitis, they don't need to do anything yet for the 40-man because everything shuts down. My guess is they won't officially announce Yamamoto till 2024. Just a guess. Yeah, no deal for, yeah, it's not deal. Hater won't be that simple. Thanks, Dan. Made me look. Ned Kelly did mention last night that hater to Dodgers on Christmas Eve. Same with Mad Bum. Is Roki going to pass on $500 million? He really shouldn't. He needs to wait. Hey, I want to do another segment. A live, because I have an audience and it makes it so much easier for me to talk. So I'm going to ignore the chat just for a little bit. I'm going to do a segment on Legacy, and I'm probably going to redo something else too. So here we go. Going to this new topic. Dodgers Legacies on the line. As we've been talking, the Dodgers have had one World Series win in the 9 years that Andrew Friedman has been the general manager, and one World Series since 2012 when Mark Walter, Magic Johnson, and company took over as owners, which I would believe that most of us would go, are you crazy? Only one when we traded for Hanley Ramirez? And we traded for Adrian Gonzalez, and we signed Zach Greinke. One? Yes, one. So the first guys that have legacy, that really to go, how is Los Angeles and Dodger fans going to think of Mark Walter and the ownership group? Did they do enough at the right time? Could they have kept Zach Greinke? Things like that. Why did they dip under the salary cap, under the luxury tax after 2017 when they had lost in 7 games to the Houston Astros? As we know, they were cheating, but still, they still lost. That's what the record books show, and they should have won that one. So they came into 2018 making salary moves. Okay? So, did they do enough at the right time? Good question. Their legacy, Mark Walter and the Guggenheim Group's legacy for Dodger fans and the city of Los Angeles is, in some ways, it's on the line. Dodgers need to win some World Series. Andrew Friedman, again, 9 years, 1 World Series. Who thought there would just be 1 World Series for this man with the Dodgers? Amazing. He's made so many amazing moves, yet it hasn't come together near enough. In the last 5 years, there's been 3 first-round playoff losses. Come on, man. Unacceptable. He said it himself. Organizational failure. The dude is a candidate for the Baseball Hall of Fame someday. He doesn't get in with one World Series, I don't think. He gets 2, he's in. Speaking of almost this, it's parallel, just 1 year's difference. Dave Roberts, who a lot of his legacy, people go playoff mistakes, and he's had some big ones. I'm not even going to go over the list right now. It just hurts my head. But he's also been very successful as a manager, accumulating an amazing amount of wins. I thought he did a really good job in 2023 during the regular season. But your legacy for a manager, a lot of it is based on postseason. And I saw a tweet earlier, I think from Mike Whitman. Doc has 2 more years on his contract. If he doesn't get a World Series win within the next 2 years, maybe it's not renewed. He gets another World Series, he's probably in the Hall of Fame because he's going to have a great winning percentage and at least 2 World Series at that point. Yeah. And I contend, if Bruce Bochy was the manager of the Dodgers from 2016, actually 2015 when they should have fired Don Mattingly, before that, from 2015 to now, they would have 3 World Series wins. That's what I'm saying. And then the players. Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, face of the franchises. They were really bad in the postseason with a combined 1 hit. The only thing that we remember, I think, from 2023 is probably that stupid Freddie dance. Rest in peace to that dance. Good night. Win some baseball, win some World Series. I'm not worried about little gimmicks like that. I know teams got to have their thing. Kind of like the choo-choo train better, much better. But yeah, Mookie and Freddie. I know they both have World Series. They both have MVPs. But their legacy in Los Angeles, I think they're both in the Hall of Fame, by the way. I think they're pretty close to sure things. But their legacy as Dodgers is questionable right now. People are going, what happened? Why is Mookie bowling? Why is, Freddie always so happy? Why, or during everything, they just wilted in the playoffs. The next one, Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani is quite possibly, and it won't even be time, I'm not going to time box it. He could be considered overall the greatest player of all time. A lot of people say it's Babe Ruth because, well, he hit a ton of home runs and he was a great pitcher. And he did it both for quite a while. Shohei Ohtani just needs to do it for a bit more, but he also needs to get into the playoffs, which he should really early. Needs to perform like he did in the WBC and help lead this team to a World Series and justify a $700 million commitment. I know there are all sorts of things with deferrals and all that stuff. At the end of the day, it's $700 million. For what, 460 or something in today's money. That's a lot of money, a lot of commitment. There's such a strong commitment or strong contract that if Mark Walter or Andrew Friedman leaves or fired within his contract, he can opt out if he wants at the end of the year. So there's a lot on him. And of course, last but not least, Yoshinobu Yamamoto has signed the biggest overall money pitcher's contract in the history of Major League Baseball. 12 years, $325 million. Breaks Garrett Cole by $1 million. Has opt-outs. Has some $50 million bonus. Another $50 million plus in posting fees. So that's a lot. A lot on him. A lot of shine on him about how good he is. And so there's going to be a lot here. And if he comes in and does what is expected, he will become a legend in Los Angeles and Japan. Otani's already going to be bringing a ton of extra Japanese fans. He will have maybe even a Fernando effect. There's not near as many Japanese as there are Latinos. But he's going to bring in a lot. So that's the guys that I think are the legacy people that have their legacy on the line in the next few years. All right, there's that one. I'm going to redo my pictures again because I forgot Gavin Stone. Sorry about that. I really need to do that because it's going to be rough for me to do any shows. I need content. So let me do that real quick. And then we'll get back to this. So back to this pitchers, and if you weren't here, we're going to talk about the starting pitching depth in the organization right now. Doing a segment that I can cut out. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Let's talk about the Dodgers starting pitching depth now going into 2024. Now that Yoshinobu Yamamoto has been signed, Tyler Glasnow has been traded for and extended, Walker Buehler's back, and then we have Bobby Miller and Emmett Sheehan. Their stuff as a big five is amazing. They have the quote best stuff in baseball, stuff plus in baseball. And that was before they had Yamamoto. They were way ahead of everyone else. Yamamoto takes them to another level. Now, the question will be, of course, is it a 5-man rotation? Is it a 6-man rotation? Is it something where we go, well, and Casey brought this up. Casey Porter last night at Dodgers Daily brought this up. Do we do kind of a mixture? Sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's 6. It's probably going to be closer to that if they do it. But they do need to limit some innings. So how do they limit innings? You got to have more than just 5 pitchers. And so here they have more. So right now on the roster, Ryan Yarbrough, the lone left-hander. I'm ignoring people that are injured that are going to be missing at least half the year next year or are not on the team at the moment. That includes the Dodger legend Clayton Kershaw. So Yarbrough is the only left-hander. And he throws about 86 miles an hour. So he's got different stuff. He's a good swingman. He can open. He can bulk work. He can come in and get a few batters out. Yeah, he's a possibility of getting some starting pitching innings. Then Gavin Stone, who was brought up last year, he had a rough year in general. Started off rough. He was great in spring training. Started the season rough. Then the Dodgers brought him up after maybe one decent start, and he had it rough with the Dodgers. Got sent back down, got knocked around a bit. But finally in September, and even late August, he had a good start a good bulk outing against the Red Sox. And he ended the season well with OKC. So he's in the list. Then we have Michael Grove, who started a bit and relieved a bit and relieved in the playoffs. Not sure if he's what they have planned for him, but I'm keeping him on this list. Still a young guy, still has a length that he could use, he could pitch. After that is the guy who debuted last year, pitched 2 wonderful innings, and that was it. And they got sent right back down. That is Kyle Hurt. Kyle Hurt has 5 pitches, I believe, that he can locate, and he's mastered. His stuff is out of control good. He's somebody that some people think is a reliever, some people is a bulk guy, some people is a 3 to 4 inning opener. I don't know. All I know is in 2023, he improved so frickin' much that now he is definitely a top prospect. He is somebody that 29 other teams would want to trade for. So Kyle Hurt. Next one is he was just put on the 40-man roster, and that's 27-year-old Landon Knack, who has not debuted yet in the major leagues. But he had an amazing year. He was the Dodgers' 2023 Organizational Pitcher of the Year. He has amazing control. He's a true starter, and the question is, where is he really on the list? I have him at 10. But I'm not really in that much order, but there's a lot blocking him. And like we like to say, play them or trade them. And he really doesn't belong in AAA again. Wouldn't be right. Speaking of people just added to the roster, Nick Frasso. He has amazing stuff also. It's just there's a lot of these guys have just filthy, filthy stuff. And you don't want to face them. The ball moves. They got all this stuff going on. Frasso, he mechanically wise, he looks like a right-handed Alex Wood, but he throws a lot harder, but he's all arms and legs coming at you. He is one of those that, again, every team would like. I'm not sure if he's a starter or reliever. He's had his moments in both, and I think he's done the piggybacking and all that type of stuff. But he also at the end of the year threw some longer starts. But he also had some injuries. And last but not least, former Padre shortstop, 2021 11th round draft choice, traded to the Dodgers for the great Matt Beatty and converted to pitcher. That is River Ryan. River Ryan I think he's right near the 100-mile-an-hour club. Very athletic. Probably the best athlete of all these on the list. And but also probably the furthest away. He was still in the AA roster. He's not been promoted to AAA yet. That will happen this year. But that just means that I know teams want him. He only has 2 years of full-time pitching, so getting into the mechanic, the groove of working out as a pitcher is a different story. So that is that's the list. That's 12 names to fulfill a lot of starting innings. Call it 950 innings that need to be done by starting pitch. 900-ish, 950 pitch of innings that need to be done by starters. That's averaging 5 to 6 a start. So I prefer closer to 6. If they wanted 5-man or 4-man or 5-inning or 4-inning starts, you sign Blake Snell. They have not done that. I don't think they're going to do that. So this is the list. If they do choose to get someone like a Lucas Giolito, then it adds another pitcher. But this also shows there's room possibly to make a trade. So that is our big list of starting pitching depth that I think all of them will pitch in the major leagues at some point in 2024. All right, back at it. Let me catch up a little bit here. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. All right. Past the hater hoax. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Is Roki going to pass on $500 million? He should not pass on that. He needs to stay. He'll be a free agent, and it'll be tougher for the Dodgers to get him. But that's the way it is. The Dodgers can't wait. You can't wait on a guy when you have Mookie 31, Freddie 34. Glasnow's 30. Buehler's might be walking after next year. Kaleti said he talked to Scott Boras a lot on Christmas Eve in different years. Yeah, oh yeah, I'm sure. Got to wish each other Merry Christmas and hey, how much is it going to cost this guy? Dodgers have to clear roster spots. Who goes? I'm not worried about it yet. They're not going to make those decisions for another. They're probably not till January 2nd or something. I could be wrong, but I got a feeling if I emailed the media people, the Dodgers, they're probably not going to answer. And I don't have Friedman's number, so I can't call him. Hit the like button, everyone. Yes, please. Like, subscribe. Get the notifications on. Let's get this up to 1,000 if we can. So send out the link if you can. I appreciate that. Mr. Classic. Oh, okay. This is good. Andrew Friedman got the heat from me these last 2 seasons. I bashed him so much. Hey, yeah. They traded for Carl Crawford also. Yeah, that was and he was the dude, he was coming off Tommy John. Josh Beckett was part of that too. Eric Kwan. And of course we got Nick Punto. Why didn't I mention that in the thing there? Yep, of course, after last night's Yoshi deal, he showed his spine. Absolutely. Dealing for 12 years and not a cheap pitching option. Amen. Yeah. This was the time. I think these guys are starting to realize that, you know what? It matters. My legacy does matter. I'm getting to a certain age. My kids are a certain age. it's time to show some huge accomplishments and get that plaque. Get that plaque. I want to see every one of those people that I mentioned in that segment. I want to see every freaking one of them in the Hall of Fame as Dodgers. How about that? Yep, Sasaki's current team has to agree to let him go early. It is unclear that Roki has the same clause in his contract like Ohtani. Yeah, because he could have just burst at this on December 15th, but he didn't, right, Sal? Hep says, with hindsight involved, they probably should have traded Urias for Sale, but if they had Sale in 2017, 2018, maybe. Yeah, I know. Same time, they don't win it in 2020 without Julio coming in, finishing things off. Remember, he closed the league championship, and he closed off the other one because Kenley Jensen, it was done. $1 billion, one World Series to me is unacceptable. Yeah, I'm just thinking about the next 2 years. But yeah, at least 2 World Series. I agree. Yeah, and because you can't say, oh, here over my career of 20 years as the owner or the GM or the manager of one of the best teams ever, a group of lengths of ever assembled, I only get one. Braves already pulled that off. Let's don't do that. Tim, were you a fan of the Showtime Lakers? Oh, gosh, yes. That was so fun. I love that. Yep, it's time to make or break for Dave. I agree. Yeah, because you notice that Shohei's contract didn't say Doc. Just saying. But also I think Doc might go, you know what? I've been here long enough after a certain amount of time. Let's say he wins another World Series. He goes, you know what? I'm pretty happy with what I do. Maybe I'll go into broadcasting because I think Dave would be a good broadcaster. He's just loud. You always hear Dave. They'll have to keep his microphone turned down. I agree they would have won with Bochy. I firmly believe that. Tomorrow, I'll remember 2023 for the introduction of Miller, Sheehan, Pepio. Yeah, that was a highlight of the year for me. Yeah, all the prospects coming through. James Outman having a nice season. Just a lot of people. I think Michael Bush debuted, right? There was. I thought they said 17 different players debuted. Johnny DeLuca. Yeah. Mr. Classic, but Ohtani isn't thinking 700. He's thinking regardless of contract, I get money from endorsements anyway. Yep, I'm hungry for World Series. He is. Yeah, I think he's very hungry for World Series. He knows about legacy, and he wants that good. Babe Ruth was good, but he didn't play against Dominicans, so he will always have an asterisk. That was the time. He was the best player in baseball at the time by far. So I don't buy into that. I don't look into that. I go, yeah. Let's be honest. Babe Ruth at the time, his condition then, playing today, he'd be playing college baseball maybe. But you could take Shohei and put him back then, and he wouldn't have been that good because the nutrition and the workouts and all that stuff. I just look at how they played against their contemporaries. The Negro Leagues was there too, and so people would say maybe Josh Gibson. People, that's just word of mouth too. So, Yamamoto's got to be number one. Yeah, they'll work out the rotation. Mookie, Freddie, Ohtani, Yamamoto, all going to the All-Star game. Let's hope so. Let's hope they earn it. Rotation: Yamamoto, Glasnow, Buehler, Miller, Sheehan. That's kind of what I have at the moment. 7-man rotation, maybe. Missing Kershaw. I'm not missing him yet. I'll miss him though if he goes to another team. As long as he's not on another team, I'm good. But if he signs with the Rangers, then he's gone. Then you have to go get errands done. Go get him, man. Merry Christmas to you and the family. Hope everyone has a great Christmas. Yes to the chat. All right, I actually need to start working myself. So we didn't quite get to 1,000, but hey, it's a good. How many I was going is Doug, so I know that that's not a good W. But I appreciate y'all. Hopefully these things download so I can make clips on the airplane tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. Thanks, everybody, again. You guys rock. And appreciate y'all. If I don't get back to you, Merry Christmas. But I'll be back before the new year. Be safe. Have fun. Personal. Jesus is the reason for the season. That's where I come from. I'm full-time Crizzo. But yeah, as we like to say, on this channel. At least I do. God bless and go Dodgers.